So in the last video, you remember when I was down on the hill trying to get the salt spread out on the pavement down there. I was pushing that little seed spreader, had my rock salt in there, going up and down that hill in the snow. It sucked. So I told you guys that I was gonna have to look into a better solution, and I briefly considered one of those larger 3-point hitch style seed spreaders to put on the back of the tractor. But the more I thought about it, you know, those are really expensive, and I'm probably only going to use it about 6, 7, 8 times a year. You know, I'll probably use it in the spring and the fall to spread some grass seed, and then in the winter time we just get a handful of winter storms. So it's not going to be used all the time. There's no sense in spending several $100s on it, and the ATV would be a little faster anyway. So I picked up this easy tow made by a company called Chapin, or Chapin, however you want to pronounce it. So Chapin makes this seed spreader broadcaster that you can pull behind an ATV or a lawnmower if you wanted to, or whatever. I'm going to pull it behind the ATV. And this, I think, will make the job of spreading the salt out there on that paved entrance to our properties much, much easier. I won't have to walk up and down the hill anymore. I can just load this thing up and go. And the side benefit is it holds a lot more salt. So I can just dump a bag or two in here. That should be enough to do it all in one fell swoop. So let's open this thing up and see just how much assembly is going to be required to make this work. So there's quite a few of these things on the market. And as usual, I do a lot of research when I'm getting ready to buy something like this that costs a few $100. This one was about $200. The reason I really like this one, for one thing, you can see here that the gearbox actually has some bronze bearings. It's got a grease fitting, and it just seems to be a lot more robust. A lot of these things come with plastic gears down here in the axle. That's the mechanism, of course, that spins as the wheels are turning and throws the salt or the seed or whatever. Well, if this was made out of plastic, it's not going to hold up very long. And if you read the reviews on a lot of these other brands, you'll see that they do in fact end up wearing out or stripping or tearing up. So I like the fact that this one had some metal gears in there, and it's also got a grease fitting, so you can keep it greased, and hopefully that'll extend the life of this thing. You can see here oil impregnated bronze bearings with a greased zerk, so you can keep it greased up. It's got a nice gate adjustment on it, auto stop dual impeller, and it's got some pretty large pneumatic tires on it too. Come on, camera. So that's going to be nice. It'll make it easier to pull it if it's snowing out there and what have you. So I'm going to open this thing up now and see just how bad assembly is going to be. So right out of the box here, it doesn't look like that it's going to be all that difficult. You got some really large pneumatic tires. Most of the hopper and everything is already assembled. Looks like basically all we have to do is a very small amount of tube work and a couple of brackets. And then of course this is the shield that goes on the back, which is really nice because this will keep the salt from being thrown all over your ATV. Obviously, when you're using a tractor, ATV, whatever, and you're spreading salt, you run a risk of having your machine get rusted out real fast. I've seen it firsthand. So you want to make absolutely sure that you're doing a good job of washing and cleaning whatever machine it is that you're using. You want to make sure you wash it and clean it good when the storm is over. But this shield will help to at least keep a lot of that from being thrown all over the back of the machine. So got an instruction manual over there. I'm going to go ahead and throw this thing together, and then I'll be back in. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Now the instructions indicated that you would need a hammer and several different tools, but the only thing I used was a 10mm wrench and a 10mm socket and ratchet, because all of these little bolts and nuts are 10mm. So those are the only two tools I used, and it took me about 15 to 20 minutes to assemble it. Now you see you've got a nice little cover here that you can, it's actually got elastic in it, and it also has one of these little spring-loaded clips there, so you can tighten it up or loosen it if you want to. This is nice because it'll kind of keep the rain and snow and whatever else off of your material while you're working. So that's kind of handy. And you can see the attachment here. They give you a pin so that you can put that on your ATV. So nice. I like this guard. Like I said, should keep all the stuff from flying toward the machine. It's going to work out good. Now, as far as the adjustment mechanism goes, you can see it in here, and it does have a nice positive. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but you can tell it's once you adjust it, it's got nice positive engagement to it. Like I said, it's holding the camera, it's kind of hard to do, but what I'm getting at is that once you put this on the setting that you want, it does not appear that it's going to jump around on you at all. Nice positive engagement, and it feels like it's solid, and it should stay where you put it. So that's good. So basically, the way that this one works is obviously when you're moving, it's going to be spreading material, and if you're not moving, it's not going to be spreading material. So you notice that there's no additional mechanism up here to turn it on, turn it off, and all that kind of thing. It's just pretty much automatic, spreading when you go and not spreading when you're not going, which adds simplicity to it. But some people might like to have some manual control, you know, over when it's actually spreading the material. So just FYI on that. All right, so it's time to try this thing out. It's snowing out here again, and I'm trying to play around with the different settings on here, and I've got it all the way up on 7 right now because the material that I'm trying to spread is just pure rock salt, and it's actually, you know, the grains are pretty large, so I've had to turn the setting way up to get it to distribute material. But it seems to be working pretty good, and it is a heck of a lot better than pushing one up and down this hill on foot. So let me try to get some footage here to show you how this thing works. Now I can't tell if the, let me put the parking brake on here real quick. It's hard to do with one hand. Hang on just a second. I was gonna say I can't tell if the camera is really showing it or not, but it's throwing material way back there. It's probably broadcasting about a 10, maybe 15 foot arc around the back of it. So not only is it super handy, but it's also doing the job more quickly because it's covering a larger area out here. So you can see the material as it's falling through there. Quite a bit of it comes out on this setting. I might have to play with you know, moving the setting back down, maybe try 6 or 5. But yeah, this thing is pretty awesome.